So today I wanted to talk about something a bit different. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it before on this channel, but I am a massive Fallout fan, and recently with the release of Fallout London, I've come off my Fallout hiatus that I've been on for the better part of 2 years, and getting into Fallout London, I have to say I was actually a bit disappointed. Don't get me wrong, the developers made an amazing looking world and what could have been some interesting factions, but overall the mod felt like it was stuck in an awkward position where at some points it almost felt like an official DLC, while at others, let's just say there was a lot that I wasn't a fan of. At the end of the day, it wasn't for me, and after deciding to uninstall it, I still had the itch to get back into Fallout, particularly Fallout 4, since I was in the mood for something modern. I've always played the Fallout games mostly vanilla, bar the exceptions of a sprint mod here, maybe a bug fix mod there. Oh, and Tale of Two Wastelands, which basically combines Fallout 3 and New Vegas into one game. A bit unnecessary if you ask me, but from a technical standpoint, incredibly impressive. So while I normally play Fallout 4 completely vanilla, this time around I thought to myself, why not add some mods? I had a few written down that I had seen or read about over the years, and I figured now was the perfect time to add them. In my search for the mods on my list, I stumbled across something that released only a few days ago, something that I would come to find was truly beautiful and unique, and that surprisingly, as of the writing of this script, nobody seems to be talking about. Enter Fallout Vermont. So Fallout Vermont is a different take on the Fallout 4 aesthetic, to say the least. Unlike the base game where you find yourself set on a direct path to find your son through a barren wasteland of grays and browns, Fallout Vermont does as the name suggests and puts you in an endless expanse of verdant green mountains. Fun fact here, the very word Vermont is a combination of the French words vert, meaning green, and mont, meaning mountain, and the state is named such because early settlers to the region described it as the Green Mountains. Fallout Vermont does a fantastic job of portraying reality. I've actually been to Vermont a few years ago, and it is a beautiful state, and this mod captures that beauty perfectly. But it's not only aesthetic changes that the mod offers from base Fallout 4. In Fallout 4, you mainly travel around the barren wasteland fighting super mutants, robots, raiders, maybe even the Brotherhood of Steel or the Institute depending on who you side with. Overall, Fallout 4 has a lot of fighting. It's a game about shooting things. Fallout Vermont, however, puts all of that aside and instead has you exploring a mostly peaceful and pristine version of post-apocalyptic New England. There are no raiders, super mutants, robots, or even many NPCs at all. Except for the ghouls. See, the story of Fallout Vermont revolves around the concept that somehow large numbers of feral ghouls escape from mysterious underground bunkers. They now terrorize the long-abandoned highways and occasionally raid the various settlements, which are inhabited by a few factions. It's your job to figure out why. However, unlike base Fallout 4, this mod does not hold your hand at all. The map on your Pip-Boy is fairly bare bones, and there are no quest markers at all, not even any quest logs. At first this may sound boring and unintuitive, but the way the mod forces you to rely on your instincts and clues within the environment to figure out what to do next is almost refreshing. Listening to the various NPCs spew out information that I initially dismissed as rambling, only to realize they were giving me critical instructions or directions, made me keep on my toes and only helped further my immersion. That's another thing I want to talk about. In a lot of video games, forested environments aren't done particularly well. This is due in large part to the fact that trees are incredibly resource intensive to render, especially when there's a lot of them. Throw in some grass there, and you're gonna have some frame dips, which I certainly did. However, the overabundance of trees and the lack of any quest logs or navigation markers telling me where to go and what to do completely engrossed me in the world I was playing. Far too many games today hold the player's hand and give you a quest marker for every little thing, to the point where it feels like you're less playing a game and more just following an instruction manual. Fallout Vermont completely turns this concept on its head. Ultimately, the questing in Fallout Vermont is simple. Don't expect to find a super deep story or any real kind of side quests. The objectives mostly boil down to go here, find a note with a clue, use that clue to locate a key, and go see what's inside the abandoned bunkers. It's more of a giant puzzle than anything else, and this mod isn't super long. I'm not going to spoil any of it because A, I'm not a jerk, and B, I haven't gotten super far into it myself, only putting in a few hours as of the writing of this script, but thus far I am thoroughly impressed. These simple yet somehow incredibly deep objectives make the game extremely enjoyable. Exploring the desolate forest while battling the occasional undead while simultaneously keeping an eye on your compass and trekking through post-apocalyptic Vermont is something I never thought I'd experience in a video game, and yet here we are. In a weird way, the whole experience reminded me of my real lifetime spent in the Vermont mountains. I'll put some pictures up on the screen. I remember walking through the actual real-life location and feeling much the same way. a sense of peace and serenity, while also a sense of danger from the sheer silence and isolation of it all. The mod really helps convey this sense of serenity with an absolutely amazing soundtrack of soft piano music. In a way, it also reminded me of the night missions from Halo 3 ODST, smooth, calm music playing while instead of engaging in constant action with explosions and screaming bad guys, you're more looking to avoid conflict and instead search for clues as to what the hell happened here. Beyond that, I will say the mod isn't perfect. Though interesting, the factions aren't fleshed out really at all, and from what I played thus far, there are no options whatsoever in what choice to make. You basically have a set objective, which is to just explore and uncover clues. There's really very little role-playing elements to it, if any at all. As I said at the beginning of this video, this mod is sort of an alternative take on what Fallout is as a game, and for what it is, I appreciate it. It doesn't take itself too seriously. In fact, oftentimes it pokes fun at itself and the base game, which is kind of funny. It got a chuckle out of me a few times.
Hi there, my friend. I've got a very important mission for you. I need you to go save some random people you've never met from being attacked by other random people you've never met. When you're done with that, I need you to go down to the market in the city and get me some cheese. Then I need you to make me a sandwich.
If you're interested in playing Fallout Vermont yourself, it is quite easy to install and only requires that you have the Far Harbor DLC. You can run it right on top of, as far as I know, pretty much any other mod. All it does to the main game world is add a small little door in the side of a cliff that's explained away as being an old smuggling tunnel, which will lead you to the new play space of Vermont. And that's really it. A shorter video this week. Next week I'm hoping to do a bit longer of a video. I just wanted to showcase this mod and give it some love, because I find far too often these days it seems like only the most popular mods are getting all the attention, and neat little things like this are largely buried and forgotten about. That being said, if you did enjoy this video, please like and share it around. I will be doing more mod showcases on various games, including a new Stalker mod in the coming weeks, so if you're into that, subscribe, and as always, thank you for watching. Have a nice day or night, and stay safe. Goodbye.